Yes, hi everyone. My name is Gabrielle, and welcome to another episode of Let's Talk Money with Friends. Yes, every Wednesday we have the privilege of coming to you to talk about money, life, and everything else. We see on this show that money encompasses everything, and we like to discuss different topics because we know that it's not only about dollar and cents, it's about everything. And so tonight we're going to talk about a topic I feel very close to because I like to become better. And I'm always encouraging other people to become better. So I do have a guest on the line with me. Actually, last minute, she said yes, she'll come and help me because my other um, previous guests were confirmed and not able to make it tonight. But we are here and we are here for you and with you. Without further ado, why don't I give my guest, my friend who's online, an opportunity to say hello and to let you know why tonight on, yes, tonight, this month is Women's History Month. Why she decided to be part of this show called Better Matters.
Hi, Gabrielle. This is such a pleasure to be here with you. And I want to say thank you for thinking of me for coming into this program. It is amazing. This is my third time here with you.
Oh, really?
So
You're
I
getting
feel
better,
like
you're getting
it's
better
really,
then.
yeah, that's very much a privilege for me to be here.
Yeah,
And I cannot wait for us to dig into this topic. I love change, and anything that has to do with change for me, it's an important topic.
yeah, definitely becoming better. You see, I'm becoming better at multitasking because I have to do
Yes.
everything, sharing the live. So I would like for you too, who's watching me or who's gonna be watching in the future, to really do better by sharing the live, letting your friends know that Let's Talk Money with Friends is on every Wednesday. And what we do, we share really great concepts and ideas about money, life, and everything else. Because on this show, we believe that if we are able to share and you are able to take it with you and do something about it, community, it's definitely going to be making a difference. I was telling you earlier, Gassian, that I was earlier today, I had an opportunity to go speak at a university, local
Mhm.
university in Boston. Basically, what did I wanted to share with those students, undergraduate students, that it's important to be better. If you're gonna be a doctor, be a better doctor. If you're gonna be a nurse, be a better nurse. If you're gonna be an engineer, be an engineer. Because at the end of the day, the better we get, the better society will get, and everything will be so much better. So, without further ado, I would like to say, you remember we were talking offline about the movie you said that you've seen it because you have children. It's an awesome
Yes.
movie called A Christmas Carol. I know it's not Christmas, but that movie is timeless, wouldn't you say?
Yes, it has a lot of lesson to learn and that you could use in everyday life.
Yeah, definitely. The
Yeah.
idea of nobody is incorrigible.
Yeah.
Everybody can become better. Everybody can strive to become better. And sometimes you have to encounter certain circumstances in your life to become better. But at the end of the day, we all can choose to be better. So let me ask you, I just said bitter, but we all can choose to be better. Better
Yeah.
is better than bitter. Would you agree?
Oh, yes, that's true. Better is always better than better.
Yes, definitely. So let me ask you, why do you think that in terms of like, because, when I saw that movie and I've seen it many times and I always think about it, I think about the fact that, it's never too late to change. It doesn't matter how old are you. It's never too late. Doesn't matter how long you've been in your business or in your career. It's never too late to change for the better. It doesn't matter how long you've been a mom. I know you are a healthcare provider, you are a nurse practitioner. It doesn't matter how long you've been eating a certain way, right? You can always
Mm.
you can always do better. So what are some of the causes though of why folk get stuck in the old ways or in bitterness or resentment? Even why do they stay stuck in doing the same thing, even in regards to their health? Why do you
I
think?
think I think people tends to get comfortable with the
Mm,
status quo.
yeah.
And that once you get comfortable with knowing the result of something, you don't, you tend not to challenge yourself. I
Mm,
think people are afraid of change because they don't know what it's in the other. part of it, or sometimes it's because there's too many steps to what they need to do for that change.
Oh,
So rather than doing it, they get overwhelmed and they stop even making the first step.
too many steps, huh? Because
Yes.
it seems too overwhelming, and they're just like want to stay stuck in the same doing the same old thing and not want to
Mm-hmm.
venture out. Yeah, too many steps. But when I think about it too, you think like the resentment, what causes some of the resentment is because of lived experiences. I mean, like even in this movie, right? This gentleman, Scrooge, right? He's the main
Mm-hmm.
character, Ebenezer Scrooge. He actually was this resentful and angry and really bitter person because he had had some bad experiences. Do you think sometimes it's fair to say that you do have to acknowledge the fact that some people have had some live experiences, that's why they're afraid to change or they're afraid to get out of the funk, so to speak?
You have a couple of things you said. You talk about resentment. And when you have resentment, you create a block within your body, your mindset,
Mm.
that it's unable you to make any changes. And
Oh,
once you have block into the body constrict, the mind constrict. You cannot see, you're stuck in this little bubble and you are not able to see how change could change that resentment, could put you on a better pathway. So then you get stuck. So the question is, how do you change? How do you move from that resentment through where you are aware, and then you're like, okay, I need to make a change. I think the whole part is to be aware of the resentment and where is that resentment coming from.
oh, so just thinking about where it's coming from, but for some people, it might be coming from the fact that they've dealt with, you're in the healthcare industry, not mental health, but like sexual abuse, uh, physical abuse, right? Some
Mm-hmm.
folks have dealt with financial abuse. Talking about trusting somebody with your assets or your credit or your life, and they're literally take you, the person taking you to the gutter, ruin your credit, ruin your life financially,
Yeah.
or
Mm-hmm.
betraying you. I mean, like, is it important to acknowledge the fact that some folks have gone through this difficult situation? Like, for example, again, going back, and we're gonna be referring a lot to the movie. If you haven't seen that movie, you gotta see it. I love movies. When I was growing up, let me tell you, Garcian, I used to spend all my money twice
Yeah.
a week. I'm at the movies because I love movies, because I feel like movies always has an opportunity to change us. As a matter of fact, let me just unpass it. You see, it says the opposite. Actually, I posted, I'm gonna share it. I love movies so
Yes.
much, and I love the quotes in movies. I really think about them. I just shared that with you earlier today. It says the opposite of poverty is not wealth. In too many places, the opposite of poverty is justice. And I have a shirt. I actually ordered that shirt because when I saw
Mm-hmm.
the movie Just Mercy with Jamie
Mm-hmm.
Foxx, and it's
Mm-hmm.
about, the injustice, things not being fair, and now of course they have evolved. We've become better in that way. So I
Mm-hmm.
always like to refer to movies and books that I've read because I feel like there's a lot we can learn. So going back again to this gentleman, he had gone through, because at first, he became resentful because his dad had treated him real bad. And he in
Yes.
turn turned around and was treating his own family members, closest family members, bad. So
Mm-hmm.
is it important as a healthcare provider? Is it important to acknowledge that, yes, you've gone through a situation, and yes, you have perhaps a legitimate reason to be resentful or angry, but of course, we're not going to stay there. Would you agree?
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Because and 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 sometimes when people don't know better, they don't do better because that's the lesson, like the gentleman in the movie, his father treated him bad, so he treat other people bad. So
Yeah.
when you turn it into the healthcare, the lifestyle stuff, if you have an individual that they see their family eating that way their whole life, it is very difficult for them to change in some ways. So I think sometimes it's what we learn behaviors that
Yeah.
sometimes prevent us to, like, we continue that behavior over and over again and we don't see an escape. But when we become to the awareness that, oh, something happened that went to our face, okay, this is what's going on, then
Yeah.
change could start taking place.
Yeah, but I mean, you're saying like the awareness. How does that happen though? Because I'm thinking, this morning when I was talking to these young students, they undergrad students, I said, you know what, whatever your reality that you've lived, it's very important to venture out and learn about other people's realities. Because if you don't venture out and be part of community or venture out and understand that we all have gone through something, you tend to stay home and beat yourself up and carry a lot of shame and feel like I'm the only one, because that's when it's not no longer based on truth, it's based on your perception, right? Would you agree?
Yes. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. It's and the question you say, how does awareness show up? I think awareness show up and view like you what you did this morning, talking to those college students. You planted that seed, the seed
Mhm.
of awareness. So now if they come up to that point, they might be like, oh, this is what Miss Gabrielle said.
Yeah.
So there's a lot to planting seed, which open people eyes to more things, to what changes need to happen.
Yeah, the idea of just sitting there thinking that you're the only one, like this gentleman, Scrooge, right?
Yeah,
Ebenezer Scrooge. He's thinking he's the only one whose father had treated him that way. Let me
yeah,
internalize this rage and anger because I have it, not even realizing that it might be generational. Maybe his dad, just like he was passing it on to his nephew, right? It's
yeah.
generational. Maybe his dad had been treated bad by his own dad. So
Mm-hmm.
it's continuing. That's why it's very important to understand that it's important to be part of the larger picture, to expose yourself to something other than what your own little situation is. Because yes, your situation is real to you, but maybe it's not the whole truth, right?
Yeah,
You need to
yeah,
expose
yeah.
yourself to other things. Have you ever
Mm.
met someone who was like a Scrooge?
Yes, I came across a few in my lifetime, in my little lifetime. I think it's
Yeah.
just those people, it's meeting them where they are because eventually they're gonna have that reality catch with them, that awareness, okay, this is not the way things supposed to be. Because, you know, because you meet people in life that you're like, wow, but it's just you look at it, and me, I have this one thing that I said, I always meet people where they are.
Yeah.
And it is for them to see what needs to be changed, but I try to mirror what I would like the way for people to treat me or be around me. So if I'm mirroring, or I'm doing love, I'm talking about positivity, I'm talking about change, I'm talking about all these things. And if you are somebody that is going to be around me, there's something that's going to happen eventually. Or if you not, then you're eventually going to move on.
Yeah.
Oh, we are going to be separate
Yeah.
space.
Yeah, going back to the fact that it is true that some folks have gone through some really difficult life experiences and they perhaps have a reason to be like Scrooge, like, untrusting, really standoffish and really looking, projecting on other people. I know I've met a couple people, actually, one person was in my family who
Mhm.
like constantly project the worst and you couldn't do anything right with that person.
Yeah.
As a matter of
Yeah.
fact, when you're trying to love, they're pushing you. Just like,
Hmm.
he will be like, get away from me. I don't want to celebrate the holidays. I don't want to have anything to do with anybody. This person was just like that. It wasn't until like I thought about that movie and I was like, oh my gosh, this person actually died like that.
Yeah.
Really angry. Part of it stem from the fact that they had experienced somebody
Hmm.
had, difficult relationships and they
Hmm.
carry that. They never got rid of that resentment. They carried
Hmm.
it on with them for years, and everybody
Hmm.
around them was paying for it, just like Scrooge, right? Everybody around
Yeah.
them was paying for that anger. This person
Hmm.
tried to show love and compassion, be willing to do anything. The only thing that this person would do would push you away. He
Yeah.
literally pushed everybody away to the point when
Yeah.
the time came when this person was transitioning. It was kind of
Hmm.
sad to see that we never really got a chance to love on that person because of the fact that that person spent their entire life
Yeah.
pushing people away. But I had
Yeah.
another friend of mine who actually had suffered from sexual abuse, and she was very suspicious of everybody. Like her children
Hmm.
were like, she was like the big mama bear, like
Hmm.
didn't give them a life, and those kids ended up being like almost like passing on that same
Yeah.
suspicious, passing on that same rage to her kids, even though they had never experienced it themselves. But you could
Yeah.
see that they were dealing with it. So when you have
Hmm.
someone who has had some real life experiences, like I said, with the person that I grew up with who had gone through some really difficult situation, which made that person to be very resentful, and also that friend who had experienced molestation, and she had a reason to be
Hmm.
angry. But in that situation, again, with the topic of becoming better, how do
Hmm.
you how do you become better? How do you transition from that stage of bitterness to a stage of becoming better?
I think that if you not aware that there is something wrong, you
Yeah,
cannot take the necessary step to change.
correct.
Because the change process has to start by something, a
Mm-hmm.
life event, someone
Yeah,
have a heart-to-heart talk with you,
yeah,
something happen in your life that make you look at life in a whole different way,
yeah,
um, a movement, a community. I
yeah,
mean, those are the things that something has to light up that fire. And from lighting up that fire, then when you're aware, then you could start. When you're aware, then you learn. And from learning, then you start taking steps.
yeah.
But, I always tell people, how do you expect somebody that never been loved to show love? You have
Mhm.
to learn, you have to know how to love to be able to show love. And it goes with anything in life. You have to be aware that there is a problem, there's something exists.
Yeah,
And that doesn't happen just like that. It happened by something had to spark the fire within you to be able to start making that change. I want to give an example.
yeah.
There is a medium called it's a voice social media called Clubhouse.
Mhm.
And I belong to a group called the Gratitude Room. And
Mhm.
what people do simply, they come and they share their gratitude. There are some people that come into this room that initially they were bitter, they were upset, but because they come to this room and hear other people sharing how grateful they are for different things in their life, they
Mhm.
come of one time, they come a second time, they come a third time. Then they start sharing. And then you could see the transformation happen. But the transformation didn't start happening until that person came into that space, be engaged in that community and hearing the positivity and to be able to say, okay, where am I? Where I'm at this moment, this time does not serve me.
Yeah.
I need to make a change.
Yeah, I love the fact that you have to have been exposed to something. Like going back again to the movie, like the fact
Yeah.
that he encountered several ghosts who came to
Yeah.
him and said, "This is where you've been." You remember
Hmm.
the ghosts of the past, looking at
Yes.
his past history in doing Christmas, how he felt lonely. So acknowledging that he had gone through some hardships, and the ghosts of the
Mhm.
present, like, this is what you're doing right now. And sometimes you have to have that self retrospective. You have to have somebody that you can trust who can say, honey, the way you are dealing with life right now, it's not going to serve you. It's not going to
Yeah.
serve you because I understand you've been there. I understand
Hmm.
that you've been through these situations, but you
Hmm.
cannot stay there. Right
Yeah.
now, this is how it's showing up. It's showing
Yes.
in rage and anger, you mean mistrusting, you are being very resentful. Nobody around you can really have joy because you remember in the movie, like the people around him had no joy because
No
he
joy.
had joy. You
Yeah.
have to be willing to look at you now. And then he was lucky enough to be able to see the future because, of course, we're not clairvoyants. We're not like,
Hmm.
crystal ball people. We cannot tell you the future. But you know what? Your present is very indicative of what's going to happen in the future. If you are
I agree.
investing positivity, if you are sharing love, And if you are the type of person who's spreading the gospel of goodness and compassion, you could
Mm-hmm.
pretty much guarantee that in the future your life is gonna be the same. But if you are
Yes.
enraged now and angry and
Mm-hmm.
resentful now, until you do something, it's gonna continue. Would you agree with that statement, Garcian?
Yes, definitely. Because when you are, when you different action bring different results. If you
Correct.
are doing the same actions and the same thing and they are positive action, it's going to bring good results. But if you are doing things like being mean to people, being negative, and you're not changing anything, you're not taking any other action, you're going to have the same results. You're going to be resentful, sad. Other people around you are going to be sad. But when you change your action and you invite positivity, you invite love, you invite joy, you invite happiness, you truly become lighter and the changes start happening in every areas of your life, finance, health, the whole, whatever you
Relationships.
desire.
Relationship, because I think of the fact that you will be encountering different people. Like this particular gentleman, Scrooge, right? He met several people, even his partner. I remember saying to you, have you seen the movie recently? But I seen it recently. His own partner, before he died, he said, it's not too late for you to change. And then he
Yeah.
came to him after death, saying, like, it's not too late for you to change because you're alive. You don't want to have to deal with what I'm dealing with right now because I died with my resentments, right? I,
Yeah.
I didn't I
Mhm.
didn't get over that. So it's
Yeah.
not too late because you notice that for a lot of people, because they've been holding on to that sadness, to that hate, to that resentment for a long time. They will
Mm-hmm.
tell you, I'm too old now, right? Because that was his famous.
Yeah.
I'm too old,
Yeah.
I'm too old. I cannot change. Go to
Mm-hmm.
somebody else, right? Why is that?
Mm-hmm.
Why is that we always say we're too old to change?
It's because people again go back to the being familiar with the same thing. You do the same action, the same result,
Yeah.
and people don't want to change because they don't know what's going to happen in the other side of change. So they adapt to their being comfortable with that situation. So in turn, also the other thing that happened is that I always tell people you could change, but the one when the last time you cannot change is when you are at your death door, like when you not at the grave,
I
like
know.
they're ready to put you in to the ground. That's when you cannot change. But if you are open to the change. And sometimes, like you said before, why something has to happen or why something has to be done or somebody has to say something. Sometimes the change doesn't happen right away. It happened later. Somebody might have said something to that person 2 or 3 years ago, and all of a sudden something hit them and that came back and played back, and then they decide, okay, I need to change now. This is it.
Yeah.
So I just think it's the fear of not knowing what's on the other side. And
Yeah.
I think that's when again I love talking about this because it's that's when love can come into place because the opposite of fear it's love. So when you love yourself enough to know that you need to make that change, you surpass the fear. And I
Yeah.
think that's what happened in the movie when he sees all this stuff.
You have to overcome the fact that at the end of the day, we all are work in progress. Nobody's perfect. Nobody has arrived. But there are some people who literally you could see it, like the hatred, the bitterness, or the change that is needed is so obvious because others are saying to you, I cannot deal with this person, whether it's at work or you are in relationships with other people, whether it's a romantic relationship or friendship, and they're saying like something is wrong, and you feel it yourself because the isolation you feel because you're not connecting with other
Yeah.
people, just like this gentleman Scrooge. I encourage you to go see that movie. It's online for free. Especially the 1951 version, the old one. That's what I love the most. When you are not opening up, you are hurting, you hiding in your house by yourself, being so enraged, you're attacking everybody. I mean, like we have intuition, we have something that's inside of us. we know that we need change. I'm a believer, and I had
Yeah.
written here that, Zacchaeus, right? Zacchaeus, the short guy, he was
Hmm.
a tax collector. He was an unfair person, stealing from people,
Yeah.
overcharging them for taxes. And when he encountered, you remember you said when you have to have an encounter or awakening. When he
Yeah.
encountered Jesus, for those of you who are Christian, guess what? He immediately
Yeah.
knew he needed to change.
Yes. Yeah.
He went to him and
Exactly.
said, Master, 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 I have an issue. I know I have an issue, and I'm gonna
Yeah.
admit it. I'm gonna make sure I rectify this. I'm gonna give back everything that I've taken from others, and I'm gonna do right by them. So
Yeah.
yes, go back to the movie. Is it
Yeah.
once you decided to change, you do right by people? Would you agree? Because he did, right?
Yes, yes. When you going back to that example I gave about the gratitude, you see once that person accept that, okay, I need to show my gratitude. Gratitude is love. Gratitude is this. They become a whole different person. They're treating themselves better and they're treating other people better. And it's just an amazing transformation once that person have that awakening or that awareness, that eye opener, the light bulb shine, and they start doing what they need to do, and the change happen. The fear is going, change is coming.
Change is coming, and not only is it good for them, because you remember again the movie when he decided after fighting against that, he fought so hard saying, I don't deserve to change, I don't deserve this, I don't want to do this, right? Because there's
Yeah,
a lot
yeah,
of talk, it's a tug of war when you try
yeah,
to expose somebody's behavior. Because recently I had to talk to someone about a situation, and I felt like, I wasn't trying to be judgmental, but I needed to say to this particular person, the way you're addressing this is not productive, it's counterproductive. And it's
yeah,
showing bitterness, it's showing hate, it's not showing love. And I know that the first reaction was, how dare you tell me what to do? Don't tell me what to do, because you don't know my situation. Because many
yeah,
times people will tell you, you don't know what I've gone through. How dare you are telling me to change? But not
yeah.
realizing that is out of love. You want them to
Mm-hmm.
change for the better, because we know that they'll get the
Mm-hmm.
joy. As a matter of fact,
Mm-hmm.
I would it here say, oh, I don't deserve to be so happy. You remember that's one of the lines in the movie that I
Yes,
really love.
yes, yeah,
Where he said,
yeah.
oh, I don't deserve to be
Something to be
so
happy.
happy. Because when
Yes.
you decide, when you've made a decision to get rid of bitterness and work through it, it's a process.
Mm-hmm.
Guess what?
Yes,
You become
yes.
better, and then you become happy, but guess what? Everybody else around you. Because then he
Mm-hmm.
become like a great community member. Because I know for
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
me,
Yeah.
personally, I talked about the fact that I encountered somebody who was very angry. I had experienced a really bad situation in my life, a bad relationship situation where I became very resentful. I remember sitting at church, Gracian, and I was like angry with not only people, but with God. Have you ever been
Yes.
have you ever been
Yeah.
there, like so angry with God?
Yes, yes. You're just angry at yourself. You're
Yeah,
angry at the world. You're angry at God. You're asking yourself why.
yeah.
That. Yes, we all been there.
We all been there. So we all have lived experiences. So I was like angry at God. I was angry at everybody, because I'm like, how dare you let this happen to me?
Mhm.
Gabrielle is holier than thou. Yes, right.
Yeah.
We all can fall short. We all can make a
Yes.
mistake. We all can suffer for in
Yeah.
the hands of other people. We all can be abused. We all can be taken advantage of. Nobody is immune.
Yeah.
Everybody can get, you have a friend that you trust and they betray your trust. You have a spouse
Yes.
that you thought was gonna go all with you, and they decided to, they decide to make another decision. Or you
Mhm.
have like a job that you thought was gonna be your retirement job, right? And then they call you and
Mhm.
say, hey, we found a younger person for half the price, right?
Yeah.
It happens all
Yes.
the time. But you know
Yeah.
what? There's always a blessing in disguise, right? It's
Always.
up to you to
Always.
look at the situation and say, what is gonna be my reaction? Am I gonna be bitter, or I'm gonna
Mhm.
make this a better situation? Would you agree?
Yes.
Even for your health, would you agree, Gracian?
Yes, definitely. Because when, going back to talking about resentment, talking about all those feelings that attach to things that we keep to ourselves and we don't want to change, it affect your health. It affect the brain. It affect the body. It's because when you feeling resentment, I bet when you're talking about that experience you had in church, I bet you if you go back there again right now, you will see that your body was heavy.
Oh yeah,
You feel heavy. Your emotions were heavy. So once you move to that other space where you become more lighter, there's no space for stress. There's no space for all that. So your body is your cells, your everything is functioning much better. So whenever you make a change in your life, it
mhm,
is affected in every area
yeah.
of your body, mind, body, and soul. I
It, oh,
mean, let's say, you're in the real estate and finance that somebody bought a beautiful home and now they have a beautiful space. We could breathe, we could entertain people. Change is good. Change is uplifting.
yeah, definitely. And it's possible for you. So if you're watching here tonight and you're saying that, I'm too old, go watch that movie. Yeah, I know it's not Christmas, but it's a movie for every day. You don't have to wait for
Mhm.
Christmas. Christmas can be for you today. Christmas is every
Yeah,
day.
yeah,
Whatever Christmas is. Christmas is a time of joy, a time, especially it's the end of the year. So it's an opportunity. We talk about having a vision board, having planned, resolution for the new year. Yes, Christmas in March, especially for the this month is Women's History Month. If you're a woman and you
yes,
find yourself very resentful, you cannot be a friend to other women.
yeah.
You cannot be a sister. You cannot be a mother. I know women who don't have great relationship with their own parents, mother, because of the fact
Mhm,
that there's unfinished business from
mhm.
years ago, from generations, they're still carrying today.
Yes,
We think
yeah,
we believe on the show that money encompasses everything. The reason why I wanted to talk about becoming better, because money also affects you. This gentleman,
yes,
because he didn't have relationship, Scrooge, because he didn't have love, he was bitter. The only thing he kept focusing on was money. Money
honey.
became his God. Money became everything. Going back to that person that I knew in my own personal space family, that's the only thing they cared about, that particular person, money. They will fight you. They will be like, everybody around them knew that the only thing that's important to them, to that particular person, was money. And with this Scrooge, the same thing, money, money, money. But when he became better, wasn't he willing to share the money? He
Yes,
was like,
yes,
how much I'm paying you? Because he was taking from his employees. He was
yes.
taking from them because he wasn't paying them a fair wage, right?
Hmm, hmm, hmm,
And
hmm.
as soon as he became better, he decided, now it's time for me to relinquish. We had a show called Pay Us, It Matters. You remember that show? Did you see it, Garcian? About
Yeah,
a wage inequality?
yeah, yeah.
Many
Yeah,
folks are dealing with that um employers are not doing better, right?
yes,
Go to
yes.
a job and they're not paying you because they don't understand how important it is to pay
How
you.
much you worth? Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, in every way he was not only resentful and mean, but he was stealing as well, stealing other
Hmm,
people's wages and not treating them
hmm.
right. And he had an opportunity to see how his behavior, the way he was treating them, had affected their own lives and how he
Yes,
was
yeah.
part of the misery that they were dealing with, the lack of resources. I
Yeah.
work in the housing, I help families in the housing crisis. We have a housing crisis in Boston, in Massachusetts, and I'm sure where you
Yeah.
are too is everywhere, right? And many
Yes. Yeah.
times families are not able to pay, uh,
Hmm.
to live in their communities anymore because of the fact that they're not getting paid a fair wage because
Hmm.
employers are not doing better, right?
Yes.
And
Yes.
they're
Yeah.
struggling. So in every
Hmm.
area, would you agree that we all need to do better?
Yes, we all need to do better. I think as long as we are in this human body and we existing, we could do better. I think every day we wake up a different person if we are open to change. If you're not open to change, you might continue the same. But every day we wake up, if you are open to change, you learn something the day prior, you could make a change for the next day.
Yeah, I believe that we need better communities. We need better families. We need better relationships. We need better
Mm-hmm.
friendships. We need better
Mm-hmm.
everything. But these things will not happen until we all decide that we gonna do better. If you're in a
We're
movie
gonna do
and you're
better.
watching today, be better. You know,
Yeah.
Mr. Scrooge,
Yeah.
second, he realized that he was in the wrong. They
Mm-hmm.
didn't want to ask him. He's like,
Mm-hmm.
how much am I paying you? Ah, yes, definitely wasn't enough. He went up like, I don't know, 100% or more, actually 400%, because he knew he had not done the right thing. Just like Zacchaeus, when he
Mm-hmm.
encountered Jesus, he's like, oh my gosh, I've stolen from people. Now it's time for me to do better by giving it back. In
Yeah.
relationships, he had bad relationship, bad blood with his own nephew. Your own family,
Mm-hmm.
you're an uncle, and you have bad blood
Mm-hmm.
with your own nephew. Guess what he did
Yeah.
when he had an awakening? He went back and apologized. Don't you see those who are willing to be better? They're very apologetic. They'll come
Oh,
and say,
yes.
sorry for my past
Because
wrong.
exactly. Sorry for cutting you up. You become authentic, and when you become authentic, you become your true self. So
Yes.
once you become your true self, you're able to open up and be able to apologize and seeing where the other person is coming through. I think that's the number one thing is once you go through that process, you become authentically to your truth, you know who you are and you know how you want to move. So you are able to treat people better and apologize for things that were not were done wrong.
Yeah, definitely. The relationship with family is so much healthier when you are
Yes.
someone who's decided to become better. Your relationship
Mm-hmm.
with people at work so much healthier when you are
Mm-hmm.
someone who decides, it's time for me to be better. And also the relationship with community. Community matters, right? We say that on the show
Yes.
because you notice like the children in the community were now calling him uncle, uncle. So
Yes.
not
Yes.
Mr., not monster, but uncle. Because you become
Uncle.
an uncle, you become an elder if you're an older person. But if you're a young person, you can still become someone that other young people are looking up to because they want to be like you, right?
Yes.
And
Yes,
you have the
exactly.
joy. You'll have the
Mhm.
joy and you'll say to yourself, oh, I don't deserve to be so happy.
Yeah.
I know for me,
Hmm.
that is true. I always say, oh, I don't deserve to be so happy. That doesn't mean life is
Yes.
perfect, but I know
No.
I'm no Scrooge. I make
Yes.
sure that I love on people and I'm encouraging you tonight. Better matters. You gotta do
Yes.
better in your business, do better at home, and do better in the community. And if you're a doctor, lawyer, engineer, whatever the profession that you have to treat your clients and your patients and everybody better because when we do that, we'll become a healthier community and a healthier world. This world
Yeah.
cannot change and become better without you. We want to be better, not bitter, better,
Yeah.
right? Thank you so much,
Yes.
Gracia, for being on the show last minute. Thank you so much. Any last word? I know I just saw you did something live. Any
Yes, yes.
what you did.
It's my pleasure, Gabrielle. I want to wish you a happy Woman Month, and
Yes,
I give you all the gratitude and praise for all the work that you are doing online with the
yes.
community, educating people about their finance and bringing other people to
We're celebrating, yes, celebrating
yeah.
women.
Yeah, so I'm super excited for all the things that you are doing and you continue doing. And it was truly a pleasure for me to be here in this space with you, holding space and talking about how to change. Because without change, we learn from our journey, and from that lesson, we are able to change. And one thing I want to say and to show yourself some grace and
Yeah,
some love while you're in the process of change, because we all have our own path,
yeah.
and just focus on your garden, tend to your flowers, tend to your things to what bring you joy, and focus on showing grace and love to yourself, and the change will happen. It'll happen.
Yeah, thank you, Gracian. Again, I would like to encourage everybody to go watch this movie because, again, so many lessons. Let your children watch it. Let them talk about it because at the end of the day, we can learn so much. Arts it really can change people's lives. I know it has changed my life. Reading and watching movies, every time I see something, I'm like, how can I do better? How can I learn from this and do better? So
Yeah.
watch this with your family. It doesn't have to be Christmas, but it's a great Christmas movie to watch it every Christmas. But do it now. Do it now so you can talk about it. And then this month can be your Christmas where you change
Yes.
for the better. Thank you so
Yes.
much. God bless you.
Thank
Have a
you.
blessed evening. We'll see you again next time for another episode of Let's Talk Money with Friends, where we talk about everything because money encompasses everything. Because when you're out there and you better, guess what? Everything will come easier and everything will come to you because you can only reap what you sow in. So thank you so much. Please let your friends know that we are here and that we are here doing better. Yes, join us every Wednesday